How was it?
Anderson, we are right outside of Detroit in Macomb County at Macomb Community College. It's a really important moment because, as you well know, this is a very important swing state. It went for Trump, then it went for Biden, but here in Macomb County, the votes actually went for Trump. And we were sitting with undecided voters to figure out what they were thinking. We got the reactions in real time, and there were some very consequential moments here. I want to begin, though, with everyone by giving a show of hands. I want to ask the people who are with me here today. Many of you came in undecided. In fact, most of you, by watching this debate, a show of hands, how many of you have now made up your mind? This is unbelievable to think about how impactful and influential this very moment was. I want to get a sense from all of you. We were all watching the appearance of the two candidates. What did you make of how they both performed and the way that they were appearing in the camera and beyond? Who had a strong reaction, especially to the age component?
I would have to say, after watching the debate and watching how Biden handled himself and answering the questions, it reassured me of his unassurance, be able to lead our country. I'm concerned he was hesitant, very not cognitive. Seemed like his data, he was missing his numbers. So very concerning. That's somebody I don't think that needs to lead our country.
Does anyone share that same opinion? A couple of you do. Who does not? Let me ask you.
One of the big things that a lot of people forget, when we are typically speaking in day-to-day life, we tend to stutter as well. So sometimes it will take time to be able to think about what you're going to say, but regardless, when it comes to a strong leader and what we're looking for in a leader, I'm looking for somebody that I trust to be able to uphold policies that will protect me and are more concerned for the general well-being of everybody in the United States, which I got more from Biden, considering he did a lot more talking about policies, what he's done and what he plans to do. Whereas on the other side from Trump, all I really heard was, I've done this and it was the best ever, but I never heard what it was. Or I heard that Biden was the worst ever, but I never heard why. So there was a lot that was left unclear for me. So while he may have appeared like a stronger candidate, on paper, there was a lot missing in terms of actual debate.
You're nodding along, Victor. Why do you say so?
I would agree with that. And the rules of the debate were you could not bring notes or any written material, so I'd defy anybody to try to speak for 90 minutes and not forget some facts. And the fact that, you know, he struggled with that. He's always had a stuttering problem. But like she said, I think the leadership qualities are there.
There was a very big moment as well in terms of a conversation about the felony convictions. As you know, there are 34 counts out of Manhattan for the former president of the United States. That was actually addressed today. I want to play for you all again and remind you of that moment.
He could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office. Joe could be a convicted felon with all of the things that he's done. He's done horrible things. All of the death caused at the border, telling the Ukrainian people that we're going to want $1 billion or you change the prosecutor. Otherwise, you're not getting $1 billion. If I ever said that, that's quid pro quo.
How many of you heard that conversation between Trump and, of course, the debaters talking about the so-called weaponization of the government? Who believes and agrees with Trump here that he was only targeted because he was a political opponent of Biden? Show of hands. Wendy, you kind of grimaced for a second as to that agreement. Why?
I definitely think that was a political move with the timing of how the charges were brought forward. And even the charges themselves. I'm sure there's many corporations who have employees who take care of the financial documents that write down a legal expense, and you just pay the bill. I mean, I wouldn't question every legal expense on a report, but that's a felony.
Let me ask you, Steve, as well, on this point. You seem to be nodding along. What's your reaction?
I think that it's not so much the crime, it's the process or the process leading up. They're trying to use up his time so he can't campaign, use his money and his resources to pay for legal fees so he can't compete with Biden. I think that his mental acuity is a lot better than Biden's. Biden seems to be very tired. Actually, I'm tired of both of them because they just keep going back and forth, back and forth. We just need to get some younger people in there that have clean records that and start over.
Well, there was a moment I want to get to talking about sort of clean records or the tit for tats you're talking about. There was an exchange happening, this time mentioning the convicted felonies, also the accusations of the allegations of having sex with a person who was a porn star, the allegations we've heard time and time again. There was a moment that our audience here, our focus group of people and undecided voters had some pretty strong reactions to, and you're going to see on the bottom of the screen how they were reacting, how they were divided in different moments and reacting in real time. Listen to that moment.
The crimes that you are still charged with, and think of all the civil penalties you have. How many billions of dollars do you owe in civil penalties for molesting a woman in public, for doing a whole range of things, of having sex with a porn star on the night while your wife was pregnant? I mean, what are you talking about? You have the morals of an alley cat.
Give you a minute, sir.
I didn't have sex with a porn star.
I mean, talking about the morals of an alley cat, for many of you, that was a visceral moment. What was your reaction?
The entire time I'm thinking of the fact that I have 3 teenage boys that are sitting back and they're watching this presidential debate. And when I was growing up, we would have never been talking about molestation, rape, and having sex with porn stars. But here we are. So what kind of example am I setting for these 3 teenage boys who are watching both of these guys squabble on in this way?
Which one of you or any of you were satisfied by the debate in terms of their performance to make a decision tonight, if you had to vote? Would you know who you'd vote for tonight? Yes. Can I ask you who you thought won, Biden or Trump? Biden, show of hands, if you think he won the debate. Who thinks that Trump won that debate? Who's undecided? It's a really telling time, particularly in an area just like this, where those candidates are focused on an audience just like this. Could they persuade them? Could they make them decide? Tonight, many have already made up their mind as a result of what we saw. Anderson?
Laura Coates, thanks, and thanks to all your group. I really appreciate them watching it with us.